Yes, it is U2 Does Much. After playing the second, I guess, of two shows in downtown Toronto, U2 will join us here in the Much Music environment. In the break, someone made a mention. Congratulations about the baby. Is this Zeppelin, like Led Zeppelin? Is it still the Untitled Fourth? Have we got a name for the kid yet? Any of that?
No, it's still it is untitled.
But
But what's track one, side one, Led Zeppelin 4?
track one, side one, rock and roll.
That won't work. Track two.
What is and what should
How
never
about
be?
Levy, Houston?
When the levee breaks. Yesterday, or on a Thursday night, you had a Bob Dylan line on his birthday. You sang a Bob Dylan line. He not busy being born is busy dying. It may sound bizarre to you guys because you live in this circle, but to a lot of people who've been watching U2 for so many years, does it get any higher? Does it get any better professionally for you guys? Do you have new goals that you reach and think, oh, what the hell? We've never done this before.
Well, we're still trying to make the perfect record, and that's why we keep making them, is because we never feel like we've done it. So that's still the goal for us. Is the
you
work.
haven't.
There was a quote attributed just before Octung Baby, which is where you had to go away and I guess come up with the next dream. A similar quote was attributed to the band getting ready for this record. You wanted to go back and make the rock and roll album. Was it a challenge to go back and make the rock and roll record you guys wanted?
There's a thing in the back of your head always. When you're in a band, if you grew up at the time of punk rock, which happened in the late 70s when we were kids, there was just this ugly sense that rock bands can turn into monsters and lose and forget, why they started playing in the first place and the people who made them, who they were. And this is out of that feeling punk rock came. And even though it's hard for a lot of people to believe that people who were transported in a Mirabelle Lemon spaceship on their last tour came out of punk rock in our heads, that was a punk rock thing to do. And everything that we do comes from this notion of not forgetting where we came from, who we are, and that we have to prove ourselves every record. That's a punk rock notion. You know what I mean?
I guess they do agree. Now, to do something like that, to come into a lemon, and then to strip it down the way you did this time, within the four of the band and the five in the corporation, I guess that would be Paul, do you guys, are the disagreements within the band different than they would have been, say, before you played the Elma combo just after Lennon had died? Were the disagreements different at this point?
Still over the deli tray, mostly.
You just keep folding
They
and
get
folding?
really rough. We fight all the time. It's like, making a record with U2 is a really messy situation. Because you got four people who, just feel very strongly about what they do. But I think the thing that separates, perhaps, U2 from other groups that I've met is that we have a giant ego, but it's one that we share rather than four individual egos. Do you know what I mean?
Is that harder sometimes to do? Because the band gets so much press, and at certain stages of your career, the press is so harsh on the band to the point where personal attacks go at everybody at the expense of the music. So the giant lemon, the mirror lemon, completely washes away the fact that you're playing a show.
Yeah, it's just, you know what that is? There's a really kind of, I don't know, it's a sort of retarded attitude about white rock music and what it has to be. And, having got to know, people like, Pearl Jam, got to know a lot of the bands that came out of grunge and Smashing Pumpkins and people like that, I know that they themselves felt, limited at times by the really kind of conservative expectations of their audience, short pants, sneakers, t-shirt, mustn't look like you're having a good time. And what we were trying to do was right in the middle of that movement. And when the grunge thing was happening, we were sailing our ship the wrong way, up tide, in plastic pants. And, a video, Zoo TV thing was just, that was the punk rock thing to do at the time.
Calling the White
Not
House.
to, put on a pair of dungarees. And so right when, rock and roll was getting really brown and dull and it was getting all progressive rock and boring and long again, we went day glow on pop. And we started working with DJs, and we started putting on a show that was more like black music, more like George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic, you know, the mothership. You know what I'm saying?
Tear the roof off, Pagoda, tear the roof off.
And none of the brothers had any problem with it. But, you know, white middle-class kids from Daddy had bought them a Les Paul were going, that's not rock and roll. No. You know,
And then
fuck 'em.
as that intelligent music kept going, got so deep, you had another wave with Britpop in England. You had bands like Oasis who just went right after what their perception of the element of rock and roll. And we had Noel Gallagher in here on Monday coming in town on the Brotherly Love Tour. And Noel Gallagher spent a good portion of the interview just taking apart band after band after band. Everybody who's popular right now. But when it came to you guys, he had a different tune to sing, and actually we've got a little message from Noel Gallagher. So when we take a look at Noel to you two right there.
All right.
Everybody wants to be as big as you two. Everybody wants to have that catalogue of, you know, great albums behind them. Now, whether you like them or not is you know, whether you like the music or not, that's by the by. It doesn't really matter. If you're a fan, great. But you have to respect them for what they've done for music. You have to. They're the biggest. It's the biggest rock and roll show in the world, and they pull it off, you know. And they mean it. I know them. They mean it. You take it from me, they mean it.
Similar words. Oh, by the way, Noel did say give him a call on the road. He's on his mobile. He does want to hear from you. You reach a point where you touch an audience, and there's a loyalty factor. Within your own crew, there are people who have been there from, you know, way back when. Loyalty is, I imagine, what's keeping you together, because people can't even stay together with someone they apparently love for longer than 4 years.
It's nothing to do with loyalty. We've got nowhere else to go.
I just couldn't say that. It was you.
Unemployable.
Is there something between the four of you that people are missing? Because it is an unbelievable surprise.
We're all gay.
I've been reporting that for 3 months, man.
You have a problem with it?
I think it's awesome and good for you. Why do you think we call it You Two Does Much? So, we mentioned your baby earlier, and we should give you this. This is just some gear for the kid, and anybody who start having new kids, we'll start giving you gear as well. Which kind of goes with the logo, I guess. You know, so we've got a whole bag of Much Music stuff for you here.
Sponsor a child.
That's right. It's gonna happen. We will talk about other
Thank you.
issues
Very kind.
as well. No problem. We have lots to go. There is four. I mean, family is such a big part of what you do, and you can tell that on stage.
Family,
The family.
if you know what I'm saying.
Could that be Sly's family?
It is. No, being in a band is a bit like being in the mob, you know, or the priesthood. It's you won't get out of it while you're alive.
You did sing with Frank,
Yes, I did sing with Frank.
so it would make some sense.
Frank is the man.
It's funny how we idolize certain people. The Joey Ramone is one that I'd like to talk about in just a bit. But one of the songs that got such a monstrous ovation was Beautiful Day. And I mean, you know, it was a return, it seemed. A lot of people love to say, hey, U2's got to come back. You know, U2 is coming back. Did you go somewhere that we didn't hear about?
We got all arty on people, I think. Wasn't that it, Larry?
I think, you know, we have to make it interesting for ourselves, and, you know, we challenged our audience, and we definitely took them up mountains and down ravines and stuff like that, and, you know, that's what you got to do, and you got to do those things to get to make the record that we've just made. And we're not embarrassed about that, and we've got a license with our audience, and that's why our audience is so important. We've got a license to do those things, and we've never repeated ourselves, and people think that that's some sort of technique. The reality is that we wouldn't know how to. You know, we're actually not qualified to do that. But I think that, you know, we want to do other things, and you know, talking to Age earlier on about, you know, is this the pinnacle? Is this where it's at? And it's like there's unfinished business for you two. There are still things left for us to do, and who knows when we'll do that, and making great records and having great songs out there and getting on the radio and challenging all the other stuff that's out there. That's our job.
When you challenged the audience for the past couple of records and the past couple of tours, at times the response, was it what you were looking for? Did you get discouraged by... Because with U2, it's awesome. Every time a record comes out, that's when they lost me, or that's when they won me. Yeah, every time that happens.
I think people like to kind of follow those changes. I think they like that kind of, well, it's not going to be straightforward. We're going to trust this and go with it. And, you know, a U2 record takes a long time to get into. You have to listen to it a lot, and then it kind of grabs you. So I think it works out fine.
It appeared to be. U2 here in the Much Music environment in downtown Toronto. Stick around. More of our conversation with U2 after this.